Gurureva gati gurumeva bhaje Gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave Na gurof paramam shishurasmi guroho Matirasmi guro mama pahi guro Satchidanandarupaya Vishwotpatyadihetave Tabatraya vinashaya Sri Krishnaya vayam namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Haraye Paramatmane Pranadah Kleshanashaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Yam Pravrajjantamapedakrityam Dvaipayano Virahadara Juhava Putredi Tanmayataya Taravobhinedustam Sarvabhuta Hrudayam Munimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Sarvebhyaha Namaskaraha. In chapter 5 of Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavada Purana, we saw that all the elements, the Indriya Devatas and the Indriyas were activated or emerged from that Mahat Tattva. And from the Mahat Tattva, the Mula Ahankara, Aham Tattva that evolved, and from that Ahankara, the Sattvika Ahankara, Rajas Ahankara and the Tamas Ahankara emerged out. And from that Sattvika Ahankara, the Indriya Devatas, from the Rajas Ahankara, the 10 Indriyas, and from the Tamas Ahankara, the basic elements. All this were emerged. But they had power, but they cannot combine together. They were all separate and floating on the causal water. So they all worshipped to Bhagavan Sri Hari, Srimad Narayana. They all worshipped to Bhagavan Srimad Narayana. You brought us with the idea to form this universe. Only then you can perform the leelas on this creation, and we also can get benefit from the other beings and we can give them. So it's just like a cycle, but now we cannot come together. So please give us your blessing, intelligence and strength to come together. So this Sage Maitreya explained it to Sri Vidura till chapter 5. Bhagavan, instigated by Kala time, he entered into all these categories. Prabuddha karma daivena trayo vimshati go ganaha pretito janayat swabhi matrabhirati purusham. He entered into these 23 categories. So what are all those 23 categories? The 10 Indriyas, the 5 basic elements, the 5 Tanmatras, Manas, Buddhi and Prana. He entered into all these 23 categories, and when he entered in these categories, they had the power to come together. So when Bhagavan entered in these 23 categories, they got power and instigated by time, and by the direction of Bhagavan, they all came together to form the Virat Purusha. Adi Purusha, Virat Purusha, that supreme cosmic being. This is what Sri Arjuna saw, or Bhagavan showed to Sri Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. That Virat Purusha, it came together to form that supreme being, the Virat Purusha. And now Sri Maitreya, Sage Maitreya explains the Virat Purusha, how it looked to Sri Vidura. Hiranmaya Purusha Sahasra Parivatsaran Antakosha Uvasapsu Sarvasatvoba Brumhitaha. Hiranmaya Purusha. It was so brilliant and shining like gold. That column of light, golden in color. That brightness, no one can see that brightness with the naked eye. Only we can imagine. So that Virat Purusha with that golden luminous form, it formed like that, but it did not do any action. When it came together and when the Virat Purusha was formed, it laid like that for 1,000 divine years, just like that, without doing any karma or without any instigation. It was just lying on that causal waters for 1,000 divine years. And this Virat Purusha is the first incarnation of Bhagavan, because in that form Bhagavan entered in it. So that Virat Purusha is the first incarnation of Bhagavan, and that Virat Purusha is the soul of everything, because all the beings, the entire creation came from that Virat Purusha. Savai Vishwasrijam Garbho Deva Karmatma Shaktiman Vibhaja Atmanatmanam Yegada Dashada Tridha. So that cosmic being, it had three potencies. There is three powers. That is the Deva Karmatma Shaktiman. It had the Deva Shakti, that is the Jnana Shakti, Karma Shakti, the Kriya Shakti, and the Bhoktri Shakti. That is the Jnana Shakti is the power of knowledge, and Kriya Shakti is the power of action, and Bhoktri Shakti is the power of enjoyment. That it had these three powers, and it Atmanam Vibhaja, it divided itself into three. It divided itself by itself into three. That is, it divided itself into Egada, into 1, Dashada, 10, and Trida, 3. So what are all these three divisions? Sadhyatma Sadidaivascha Sadibhudayidi Tridha Virat Prano Dashavida Yekada Hridayena Cha. Yekada Hridayena. That is, it divided itself into 1 as the soul or as the jiva of all beings. That is 1. Trida, that the three divisions, that is the Bhoktri Shakti, it divided itself into 3. That is the Adhyatma, Adi Daiva, and Adi Bhuta. It divided itself as the Bhoktri Shakti into 3. That is the Adhyatma, Adi Daiva, and Adi Bhuta. So what is this Adhyatma? This jiva in association with the Indriyas, that is Adhyatma. And this jiva in association with the Indriya Devadas, that is Adi Daiva. And this jiva in association with the elements and the different combination of the elements and the body, that is the Adi Bhuta. So like this, it divided itself into 3. And it divided itself into 10. Into 10 as the Karma Shakti, as the Kriya Shakti, as the 5 main pranas. That is the prana, apana, samana, udhana, and vyana. And its 5 functionalities as the inhalation, exhalation, digestion, circulation, and expulsion. So this is the Kriya Shakti. So like this, it divided itself into 10, into 3 as the Adhyatma, Adidaiva, and Adibhautika, and 1 as that indwelling soul, that is the Jiva. Like this, it divided itself into 3 divisions. So this Virat Purusha, it had all the potentialities of this creation. This entire universe, it had all this came from that Virat Purusha only. So everything was there in that Virat Purusha, all the animals, the insects, the human beings, the rishis, the prajapatis, the gods, the mains, everyone was there in the Virat Purusha. Now, this Virat Purusha, in the beginning, it was not, the features of the Virat Purusha was not that prominent in the beginning. It was just like an Anta. That's why they say the Brahmanta or the Anta Kosha, like that only. It was completely in that Hiranmaya Rupa, but not that, the features were not that developed or not that distinct. Suddenly, this Virat Purusha, it wanted to speak. So, in the place of that mouth, in the Virat Purusha, the organ mouth developed or it emerged out. And the Agni Devata, which is in the latent form in the Virat Purusha itself, it took place in the mouth. And it came out with and the power it had is the power of speech. So, like that, the mouth was developed. And in the palate of the mouth of the Virat Purusha, the organ tongue developed or emerged out. And the Devata Varuna, it took the place there. And the power to taste, rasa, that also became very prominent. That was also developed in the Virat Purusha. Now, in the region of the nose of the Virat Purusha, the organ nose developed, the Ashwini Devatas took place there, and the Gandha, the power of smell, was developed. And next, like this, each and every organ in the region of the eye, organ eye developed, and the Surya Devata, he took place there, and the power of sight was formed, and he was able to perceive everything around. And in the region of the other organs like ears, the organ ear developed, the Dik Devatas, they took place there, they formed the power there, and we could hear anything, that is the power of hearing was developed. And all over the body of the Virat Purusha, the skin was developed, and the Vayu, it took place there, and we could feel the sparsha, we could feel that touch power that was developed. What we could feel as that power of touch was developed in Virat Purusha. So like this, the hands was developed, and the Indra, he took place there, the Devata Indra, he took place there, and he was the Devata of the arms, and we could grasp anything by that arm. So like this, the legs were formed. So like this, each and every organ was first developed well in the Virat Purusha. In that same form only, now all those organs are developed in individual forms. That is the macrocosm, and this is the microcosm. So what are all we have in our form, that was developed in the ancient time in the Virat Purusha. We must say the other way around. What was all developed in the Virat Purusha, the same form we have. So like this, all over the body, what are all the internal organs, external organs, what are all were formed in the Virat Purusha, and the Indriya Devadas, the corresponding Indriya Devadas, they took place there, and that power was developed. So like that, each and every organ, what are all was developed in the Virat Purusha, the same we have now in our form. Like this, the entire, what are all organs are there, that was very clearly explained in the Bhagavada Purana. The Ahankara was developed in the individual Ahankara was developed in Virat Purusha, that is the eye sense, and the Rudra, he took place there, he dominated that place, and only because of that we could perform the ego-centered action. And the ego is very important. It's not only, it's a negative concept, because without this individuality, this jiva cannot survive. So only when we use that ego for negative purpose, then that is wrong. But ego is needed, otherwise we cannot perform anything with our individuality. Then like this, the intellect was developed in the Virat Purusha, and the Brahma, Lord Brahma took place there, and the power of rational thought, and only by using that we gain knowledge. And in the heart region, the heart was developed, and moon, the Chandra Devata, he took place there, and only because of that we are able to feel and imagine. So like this, what are all they developed in the Virat Purusha, the same we have in our form now. So we have to understand like this, and not only the individual forms, but also the different lokas that were also there in that Virat Purusha, from the Brahma Loka to the Satala Loka, all these 14 lokas were there. From the face of that Virat Purusha was developed the Vedas, came out, they emerged out the Vedas, and the people who safeguard the Vedas and spread the Vedas, the Brahmanas, they came from the face of Bhagavan, of that Virat Purusha. And from the arms region emerged the Kshatriyas with the power to protect everyone. And from the thigh region of the Virat Purusha emerged the Vaishyas, who look after the economy and business and trade. And from the feet of the Virat Purusha emerged the Shudras, who perform service to all the other three Varnas. And these Shudras are very dear to Bhagavan because they do service to all. So like this, everything was developed from that Virat Purusha. And not only this, the extent of the Yoga Maya of Bhagavan cannot be explained completely even by Vedavyasa. Even Lord Brahma cannot understand completely the Yoga Maya of the Bhagavan. Then how can we mere beings explain it? Only to an extent, at a gross, we can understand it. Now, Sri Vidura learned about the initial creation, that is the Sarga, from Sage Maitreya. Sage Maitreya is explaining all this to Sri Vidura, and he understood the initial creation, that is the Sarga, from Sage Maitreya. And Sri Vidura asked some questions to Sage Maitreya. The first question he asked was, Bhagavan does not have any desires because he is pure consciousness. Without having desires, how can he create this world which is full of color and this world, it has so many desires? Then how can a pure consciousness without any desire create this beautiful, colorful world? How is it possible? Because we all perform action due to some desire. That desire may be dharmic desire or adharmic desire. That depends upon the mentality of the person. But we all perform an action due to desire only. That's why my guru will say, even Sri Adi Shankaracharya had some desire in his mind to write the bhashyas for so many scriptures. So out of that desire only, he wrote the bhashyas. And he just formed that Advaita philosophy, revived the Advaita philosophy. All this out of desire only, but that was a very divine desire and dharmic desire. So anyway, desire is a desire. We cannot live in this world without a desire. Even attaining moksha is a desire, is it not? So all had desire. We perform action only due to desire. So how is it possible that that pure consciousness, without any desire, how is it possible that he forms this world with so beautiful world with, and all the beings have desires in it? How is it possible? And the next question is, this jiva is Bhagavan. This Bhagavan abides in all the bodies as jiva. We are all, we cannot say even I am a part of jiva, because when we say a part, then it is separated from the main thing. So there is no right English word to say that. We are not part of Bhagavan. I am not different from Bhagavan in any way. I am not separated from Bhagavan in any way. This jiva is the same as Brahman. Only thing is, I have to realize it. Like this, each one has to realize, that's all. So this jiva is Brahman. But Brahman is pure consciousness. But this jiva has so many, has completely covered with ignorance. This jiva has ignorance and the Brahman is pure consciousness. This jiva is not different from Brahman. How is it possible that this jiva lost all its bliss and succumbed to this ignorance? How is it possible? These two very important questions Sri Vidura asked to Sage Maitreya. Sage Maitreya said, Vidura, you asked a very good question. It's not only good for you, this answer is good for the entire creation and for the generations to come. And Sage Maitreya said, Vidura, it is all out of Yoga Maya of Bhagavan. We cannot define the Yoga Maya of Bhagavan. It is anirvachaniya, it cannot be defined. The Yoga Maya of Bhagavan cannot be defined. And only because of that Yoga Maya, we have desires and we perform action and we fall into ignorance. So, how is it possible? We all sleep and we all have dreams. The only thing is, daydreaming is not should not be encouraged, but we cannot avoid dreams also. When we dream, sometimes we see ourselves being killed by someone, or we are died and someone is doing all that antima karmas for it, but I am very much alive, but I see myself like this in my dream. So how is it possible? It's only because of illusion. So it is only because of the Maya. So just like this jiva is pure, but the what it is not is superimposed on this jiva because of Yoga Maya. This Yoga Maya superimposes what is not on this jiva, and we think that I am this Maya, and we are not identifying with that pure being. So that's the answer of Sri Maitreya to the question of Sri Vidura. Due to Maya, by his own power, the Atma experiences a change in his nature without any change in factual, but being factual, without any change being factual. So that is the Yoga Maya of Bhagavan. This Maya, it has two powers. Avarana Shakti, it hides the reality, and Viksheba Shakti, it creates something which is not real in that place. So that's the work of Yoga Maya. And because of that power of Bhagavan, Yoga Maya, we all feel, that is, this jiva feels that I am ignorant, or it feels that I have this desire and this one is an enemy to me. So all this is not true. But the Atma thinks like that, this Jiva thinks like that because of Yoga Maya. Yatha jale chandramasah kambhadistat krudo gunaha drishyate sannabi drishturatmano gunaha. So just like how we see the reflection of Chandra, that is the moon on the water. When we see the reflection of the moon on the water will be shaking. So we feel the reflection of the moon also will be shaking because the water is shaking. So what we think, if you are an ignorant person, we think that there is this movement in the moon. But when we see up, the moon is like that, but because of that medium on which the reflection falls on, that it has this movement, and so this moon is moving. Like that we come to understand. So just like that, this jiva, it identifies with the body and mind. And this body and mind are the outcome of Prakriti or the Yoga Maya. So it identifies with the body and mind, thinks, the jiva thinks that I am ignorant or I am intelligent even. The thinking that I am intelligent itself is Maya, because everyone is intelligence. This intellect is something which we gain by our mind and buddhi. But intelligence is our real nature. We are that Swaprakasha. We are that Sachidananda Swarupa, which we fail to understand or which we fail to accept even. So when this body and mind, it has so many defects, and because when this jiva identifies with that body and mind, it also feels that I have defect. So the problem is this identification, and how to overcome this identification. by the bhakti to Bhagavan, Sri Vishnu or Srimad Narayana. Only by that we can overcome this defect. When when we worship Bhagavan Vasudeva, slowly or gradually we begin to identify with our real nature. We begin to feel that I am divine and I am not this body and mind, and I am divine. Not only I am divine, this entire creation is divine. That also should be understood in the right sense, or otherwise we feel I am alone divine, and we try to dominate others. So this entire creation is divine. This entire creation is not different from Bhagavan in any way. We feel that it is different because of this yoga maya, and we have to identify with that Bhagavan indwelling in us. And so when we begin to identify like that, then we do not suffer. And hearing all this, Sri Vidura asked many more questions to Sage Maitreya, and he said that I cannot ask all this to anyone else because no one else is so knowledgeable like you. So I want to ask you some more questions. Please explain to me how this entire creation came from Bhagavan. So you explained about the initial creation, that is a sarga. Please explain to me about visarga, the entire secondary creation also. How these Prajapatis came out, and how the rishis, the mains, the devatas, and how the brahmanas, the four varnas, and what are their duties, what are the different ashramas. Tell about how these jivas perform their karma according to their past karmas. The four aims of life like dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. The nature of this atma, that is this jiva, and how it differs from Ishvara. The four different types of yoga to attain moksha, the different tantras, the different social orders followed by these four varnas, the study of the Vedas, the performance of the karma yoga, the charity. So what more to say? Entire creation, and about the guna avatars of Bhagavan, that is how he manifested as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And Sri Vidura is requesting to Sage Maitreya to explain about all this in detail, because he says that there is no other teacher competent like you. So please explain to me about all this. That is, Sri Vidura is requesting to Sage Maitreya to explain about the secondary creation, that is Visarga. That Visarga is very clearly explained from chapter 8. So with this ends chapter 7 in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavada Mahapurana. So I will continue with the rest of the adhyayas in this skandha in my next upload. Om Shri Narayana Khila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.